Dear Harstem, this complaint is a little different, because I don't know what was imbalanced about the Terran race. All I can do is give you the facts. I was up in income for majority of the game, had a good early game dealing a lot of eco damage and defending his 2-base push, with minor losses that put me in a great spot for the mid game. I sent spotting units around the map giving me map control, and my upgrades were even better than his. I truly believe I was outplaying my opponent, even though he is a full 1000 MMR above me. I was playing the game of my life. And yet, somehow lose? ? Please, Captain, tell me, did I outplay my opponent and still lose? Or do I suck? Name, Topspin, Race, Protoss, the Grandmaster League 5.1k MMR on North America. And the question is relatively simple. Did he outplay his opponent and still lose due to imbalance? Or does he suck? Alright, and here we are in the game between Topspin and Ratio plus L. And we see Topspin with an early scout, Ratio plus L also with an early scout, while playing a 2-gas opener. Not a huge fan of this, personally. And the reason for that is because the 2-gas opener already provides a lot of safety. Right? You can scout if you're doing a 1-Rex expand with a single gas as a Terran, but with 2 gas, it is extremely uncommon. It's kind of like putting on a 4th helmet if you're going for a bike. Like maybe the first 2 or the first 3 helmets actually provide some added security to your head and to your skull, to your brain. But the 4th helmet, it probably just makes it more likely that you're gonna topple over because, you know, it's quite a tower on top of your head. Makes it difficult to balance. And that's why I don't really like it too much. You're already cutting so heavily in eco here if you're the Terran player, that by scouting you're cutting even more into your eco for no real reason in my mind. So yeah, I'm just not really a fan of it. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the follow-up is going to be to truly judge it, but yeah, I'm not a great supporter of this move. But the Terran is not who we're paying attention to. We're paying attention to our Protoss player, who opens up with a Stalker first and follows it up with a 2nd Stalker. This means that the tech is going to be pretty darn delayed. And usually you get 1 Adept at least, that way your tech is a little quicker. Or you go for a no scout and mine more gas in the early game. But here we see not a lot of gas being mined in the early game. And because the tech is actually going to be delayed by 25 seconds or so. Usually you see a tech building going down at 218, 217. This time it was at 245. So yeah, it's like 26, 27, 28 seconds or so. That's a long delay on tech. I think we also had a pretty long delay on this starport actually for no real reason. So our good friend Topspin is going to be lucky here, because that starport could have gone down about, what, 15 seconds faster. He's gonna spot the timing on that starport. Builds a Twilight and a Robo here. And I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to pause the replay here just for a millisecond. Now, if you're playing against a 2-gas opener out of the Terran, that means that the fastest possible factory is going to be out. Which means that any type of aggression out of the Terran is going to hit way quicker than it usually would. As a Protoss player, what you want in that case is gateway units in response to that. You want safety. You don't want to be losing any of your workers. If your opponent plays a 2-gas opener, most of the time there's going to be fast aggression. If you play Twilight into Robo, you will not have a 2nd gateway out by the time your warp gate finishes. That means you're going to have less gateway units than you need in order to defend anything. Technically at 345 or I think maybe even 342 on certain maps, you could be getting hit by a triple Hellion drop. That would be a huge issue, which is why often we see 3 gateway units pre-warp gate and a 2nd gate before the robotics facility. Now, this is a little technical, but basically what it means is that you're gonna have 2 extra units over what Topspin would currently have after the first warp in. This is extremely unsafe. Despite there being a battery in the natural in a good position, this would die against a fast mine drop. It would practically die against a fast Hellion drop as well. We're lucky that Ratio plus L forgot his starport for a little bit, but otherwise Topspin would be in a world of trouble if this was anything really aggressive. Could even consider something like a proxy starport added in there as well. Like, there's so many things here where this setup would have been terrible that it feels like a bad gamble. A little bit similar as if you were to go to a casino, you sold your house, and then with the money and all of the house, and your life savings, you put everything in roulette on the number 33. Now, roulette spins, and it actually hits 33. That doesn't necessarily mean that selling your house and putting all your money on 33 was a good decision. No, it's a decision that worked out for you, despite it being an extremely risky decision. And if you were to do this move every single week, putting all your life savings on number 33 on the roulette, within a couple of weeks, probably within 2 weeks, you would be completely broke. It's the same in StarCraft 2. If you were to play like this every single time you play against a 2-gas opener, you're probably going to lose way more MMR than you're going to win MMR. This is not a consistent way to win against 2-gas openers. A DT drop definitely isn't, because with a DT drop you want to cut even the 3rd gateway unit. The moment your warp gate finishes, you don't even want to warp in a Stalker because it delays your initial 3 DT warp in. This is legitimately the riskiest build that you can have in the entire world, and you're playing it against the most aggressive opener out of the Terran, which is, in my mind, pure insanity. You absolutely hit the jackpot here when it came to build orders and build order execution, because your opponent dropped the ball a little bit on that. So you're already naturally up 11 workers for no reason whatsoever, and your DTs are gonna deal some damage because the Raven comes out after the mine drop and is thus a little bit delayed. So at this point, the game is officially over. If you were to give... Ooh, hold that thought. No, you pull your workers away. Okay. The game has now actually ended. There's more workers than you probably would have wanted to lose. Also lose all of your DTs, I guess. But it's 42 workers against 26. There is no stim out, or stim on the way even yet. Like, this game is so insanely over right now. It's not even funny. You're up practically 20 workers. You have a 3rd base going up already. You have enough unit to defend anything that a Terran can throw at you in the next 4 minutes, practically. Like, there's no risk of you dying at all. You could probably double expand on top of getting your 3rd. You could take 5 bases right now, tech into carriers, and you would still have enough units to hold your opponent's incoming 3 Rex push, or, well, 2 Rex push, whatever this is going to be. Like, the Terran is completely dead. It's over. Like, over. There's absolutely no chance at this point anymore. No chance whatsoever. The one thing that the Terran could do, which could be considered a good decision, is sending the Raven across the map, or sending 8 Marines in a medevac to either try and catch your prison, oh look, or to go across the map to try and harass. This is an interesting move as well. It's attacking the tank. You have a bunch of soft targets here in the Marines, and you decide to let your only Archon that you have attack a tank with, which has what, 175 HP. You managed to hit it twice and then you lost the Archon. Not great decision making. That's if you know that you have weak teeth, that you then start biting rocks. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Might want to go for something softer like beans or pineapples if they're very juicy. Yeah. Relatively easy to bite into as well. I like this 8 Marine drop, by the way. I think it's a good call out of the Terran. This Terran right now is in a mode, what we call survival mode in StarCraft 2, okay? You know you're infinitely better than your opponent, and you need to artificially find ways to create openings that will allow you back into the game. But in reality, there are no openings here. Like I said, the game is actually over. TOS is up 20 supply, superior tech. Thermal lens is going to finish before stim. That is usually a pretty bad sign, especially if it wasn't even a Robo Bay or Robo into Robo Bay opener. No, this was a DT drop opener into charge into Robo Bay. Like, it's an insanely late Robo Bay, and Thermal Lens still is going to finish faster than Stim. That is generally a bad deal here for the Terran. It is a terrible deal for the Terran. I like this, just kind of idling here. This is a kind of an insurance policy in a way. The Raven is here for a rest, but this is an insurance policy. The moment the Protoss decides to attack across the map right now, as a Terran, you can send this in, kill a bunch of workers, and then hopefully defend with tanks. Like, that probably is the plan. Get some Zealot spread going on. That actually is quite nice. I like that. Will provide you a bit of vision, give you some response time as well. Here comes the Marine drop in towards the main base. At least you pull your workers away, but it's not the quickest response. There also were no units ready in the main. Piling gets taken out. Some DTs get blasted as well. Terran's actually playing this out quite well, honestly. It really is. Somewhat impressed even. Attacking into this is probably not going to be it, though. It's too many Marines in this army. Super Battery could get activated as well. Yeah, this feels very good for Kloss. Still, this game is actually completely over. Raven here. Medevac still stuck up here. Yeah, this is just going to get destroyed. The funny thing is that you kind of mention destroying your opponent in the mid-game and outplaying your opponent, but so far it feels like your opponent has actually been playing faster, you know, with these drops and with the Raven harass and actually dealing some damage, like really squeezing water out of stone. And the only reason why you're still so far ahead is just because you hit the jackpot in the early game. This is basically as if you were in a fight to death with another person, you have a gun, body armor, and a massive sword as well at the same time, and your opponent has like a wooden stick, like one of the twigs, like a small branch that fell down from a tree, still has the leaves on it as well. And every single time, like, you shoot him in the foot, like half of your shots, they miss in the air, or you shoot in your own leg. And every single time you hit him, you go, man, I'm so much better than you. I'm completely outplaying you. Man, I'm so strong. I can't believe how good I am at fighting. It's like, well, this is just inherently an unfair fight. And you're really far ahead already. Like, you should be kind of ashamed that you took damage to 8 Marines in a medevac, despite being up 20 supply against the Terran. Usually you're down 20 supply against the Terran. That's a 40 supply difference there. And yet you're still taking damage. Here, once again, the Raven comes in. You could leave 5 Stalkers on each side if you would want to, and you would still have no problem stopping this army. You shouldn't have to leave 5 Stalkers. 1 or 2 Stalkers should be enough. Or you could kill this Raven. I didn't even know you could attack that. I feel like you should be capable of attacking this as well. At least use a feedback on it. That would be possible. These 5 Marines have honestly done so much already, it's insane. Used to be 8 Marines back in the day though. Fairly impressive. So at this point we're at a stage in the game where you're taking a fort base. What is this? Huh? What is this spotter unit doing here? What is he... He's spotting like 2 meters extra than your cannon is. And what is this? It's the same. How are you going to make any type of intelligent defensive rotations? That's not possible. You get no information. This is like installing an alarm system at your bed. So when the burglar enters your bedroom, the alarm won't go off. But when he touches your sheets, it will start ringing. Like most normal people, they want an alarm system at the front door. So when the burglar enters, it goes off. That would be over here. You place zealots over here. You place zealots in areas where your opponent will move through if he wants to get to any of your bases. On this map, these areas can be identified very easily. It would be this general area, it would be this general area, and it would be this general area. Because you're up in supply, you naturally should have map control, and your opponent can't easily push those units away. You should use that map control and put those units further forward. What is this Stalker gonna do? If you want to spot early, at least put it over here. That's the least you can do. Might as well just put it here. You could be building pylons everywhere as well. These units are completely useless, practically, for spotters. You brag about sending out spotters, and your initial spotters were fine because you were still on 3 base, but at this point they need to move way further on the map, especially given the current situation. The reality of the situation is that you're extremely far ahead. You probably should even have your main army on the map right now, and have vision with all your other units, which allows you free movement on the map. Terran is just going to be sitting back home, at least for a little bit. I think that is the correct call. Right now, the only thing the Terran can do is sit at home behind tanks and then counterattack with drops. And if you're a Protoss player, or if you're just any player in general, and you're ahead in a game, you always want to be thinking in the back of your head, hey, I am ahead currently. How could I fall behind, or how could I lose the game? What are my opponent's win conditions? And then you want to minimize the chance of these things happening. And one of the important things here would be to be capable of spotting any incoming drops, any incoming army movement, while keeping pressure on your opponent to make it difficult to expand to a fort base. That is important. So I like that you have a DT over here that really provides a lot of value. Spotting the fort base timing allows you to know when to move out if you want to kill that fort base. You'd also want to know when they're moving out. You're doing way less good of a job when it comes to that. Could also just build an observer at this point, honestly. You already have 3 Colossi and 3 Disruptor. There's an observer with this army, which is not necessary anymore. Usually you want to keep an observer with your army in case of mines, but because you have Disruptors already, you have a way to clear mines without needing detection. You have the Purification Nova, which is a great tool, by the way, for that. Absolutely fantastic tool. Viking here is spotting. This Terran is playing exactly how he should, by the way. If you're playing against someone that is worse than you want to drag it into a longer game so that the supplies even up. And then with your experience of taking better fights or perhaps some multitasking in a longer game, you can drag back the game and probably win it. A bunch of Vikings are out here. Supply depot drop, forward base on the way. Some oversaturation as well. You get a 5th base. I would like to see more cannons being produced and more gateways as well. So the one way that you possibly could lose right now is by taking a really bad fight and then losing your bases subsequently and not being capable of reinforcing quick enough. There's also no rush whatsoever for you, and there would be even less rush if you had full vision of the map, because then you can very slowly just throw one Purification Nova into your opponent at a time. You know that base trades can't happen. The moment your opponent base trades, you can actually pull the trigger and properly kill him, or you can go and defend against the army that's trying to base trade. But taking very aggressive trades right now is the one thing you don't want to be doing. So I kind of like how passive it is that you're playing here, Topspin. Taking out a couple of Vikings as well. You still have 3 Colossi alive. Wouldn't have minded a second Forge a bit faster. I mean, you're floating practically 4k-ish resources. And as I say that, you warp in a bunch of units. So it's more like 2,500 resources. DTs make their way towards the right side. I mean, if you have a DT squad ready before the 4th base even lands, you know you're going to be in a good spot. Scan, 1 DT gets taken out. Where's all the DTs actually? Well, you still have 3 DTs in the main as well. It's kind of sick. Not completely useful. These ghosts are gonna actually take a bit of a beating as well. No DT blink either, which does pain me. You're taking some okay-ish trades, I think these were. Yeah. Any trade really is somewhat of an okay trade at this point. You're outmining your opponent by so much. Okay. When I said any trade at this point probably is going to be an okay trade, I meant a trade that falls within the realm of like 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2, maybe even, because you're almost doubly outmining your opponent. What I didn't mean is lose 9 DTs to kill 3 SCVs. That is not even really a trade. That is just giving stuff away for free. And it's not a very good business model. I would not recommend that, my friend. You're gonna go bankrupt sooner rather than later. Do throw a couple of good Purification Novas. Control on the Disruptors is a little bit sloppy, honestly. But I mean, you're hitting anyway. You're still in a fine spot. Despite these few mediocre trades, the Purification Novas made up for a lot of it. You're down in resources lost, which is impressive, because you have a lot of Disruptors, and Disruptors tend to just trade slightly better, especially against armies that aren't very well upgraded. If you're well upgraded yourself. But I guess that DT loss really hurt you. You still have 3 DTs. They're idling in the main base. No blink on the Dark Shrine whatsoever. And you also have a bunch of random Stalkers in the main base. Not really necessary in my mind, if you just have good map vision. But then again, right now you're securing your bed sheets. It's not... Here you're not even securing any vision whatsoever. So you're honestly kind of blind for how dominant your position is in this game, which is painful to see. Salad run by heading towards the right side as well. The red side. To be fair, it's also the red side, isn't it? Gateway. Not a huge fan of that. It obviously gets spotted by the sensor tower here, but if you're gonna build it, you might as well build it outside of vision range then. Like, this is... Yeah. Who could have predicted that? Not me, that's for sure. Ooh. Big disruptor. Good lord, these are some engagements. I was gonna say this started quite well, but this ended a freaking disaster. I need to watch this again. I had the words, "this looked quite well," in my mouth. You know, they were on the tip of my tongue. I was gonna say them. When this disruptor shot hit, I was like, man, that's legit 30 supply or so. And I'm like, this game is practically over at this point. And then this link, look at this. This is what, like 14 Stalkers? They kill 1 tank, a Viking, half an SCV, and then all of a sudden there's only 4 left. It's an interesting trade. Once again, given that, okay, it's 2-2 against 3 plus 3. So it's not even that much. It's better for the Terrans. Up 1 upgrade, technically. If we count armor upgrades. Which we do, by the way. We count armor upgrades. Still, an absolute win scenario for you. Like, you're so far ahead, it actually hurts me. However, at the same time, you also have no map vision, which means that this type of move will not be spotted ahead of time. With your reaction time, that's actually quite bad, because it means you're going to lose, well, 80% of your zealots that were over here. Resources lost, once again, going to increase. And usually numbers going up is a good thing. Bank account, resource tab, income, all of that would be really nice for you to go up, but the resources lost, ideally you want to keep low. I can't believe that this... I need to see this again. I'm sorry. We'll need to go back once more. How is this possible? That you have 6 stalkers in your main base, ready for this. You see the move out, or the load up. I guess you don't see it, but your unit spotted it. It's like, yeah, where did the units go? Huh? Oh no! And then you don't even manage to target fire on any of the medevacs. The one medevac that went down here was because of the auto target fire. You could have targeted at least 2 medevacs down. Super battery could have been activated immediately. DTs that were in the back could have been pulled. You didn't even have to recall for this, honestly. It wouldn't have been necessary. Now, you actually lost some stuff. You lost your map control again. And losing map control against players which are better than you is usually very bad, because it allows them to make plays. And this is the one thing that the Terran player is just looking for. He's looking to make plays. Really, that's all he wants right now. He's like, okay, if I can be fast, if I can take superior trades and eventually somehow secure a 5th base, there is a chance that I win. And this is literally the only way that he can win. Or if you decide to never upgrade your armor again and eventually fight 3-3 against 3-1, that's also a possibility, of course. So we get another mediocre fight from your side over here. Terran, once again, is going to actually get some control of the map right now. And this is the first time in the game where I'm actually scared for you. Not because you're behind, but because you were so far further ahead and didn't manage to win yet, that I really have zero trust in your abilities to finish a game. Oh my god, these disruptor shots are too good. I don't understand how you can have this many good disruptor shots and still not win fights. It is magical. It actually makes no sense to me whatsoever. Okay, give up some disruptors here. Lose the right side base. Actually starting to lose control of this game a little bit at this point. Actually starting to lose control a little bit. Income, pretty equal right now. Once this 5th base actually gets flown over to the right side or to the left side, I think the Terran is in a playable position. Now, once again, with the caveat that he's playing against you, because otherwise it would not be a playable position. If this Terran were playing against someone else that's slightly more competent, he would be getting blasted from 4 different sides at the same time. 42 Stalkers, 6 Disruptors, plenty of money to warp in 15 DTs if he wants to. Great call, sending in the DTs. Managing to lose 6. And killing, I think maybe 1 SCV went down due to splash, but I could be incorrect there. It's possible that 6 DTs killed nothing, which honestly is quite impressive. I think if you would A-move randomly on the map, they would get more than that. They accidentally find a Marine. Yeah, do manage to take out a Liberator there. Only cost you 5 Stalkers. Ooh, look at his flank. This is actually kind of a good flank. And now you get caught. Yeah, because you had no map vision of this side. Your flank was practically open. Your disruptor shots didn't hit. You get absolutely blasted. Yeah. I actually can't believe that you were bragging about outplaying your opponent. I don't think I've ever seen someone get outplayed this hard in a game. This was an insanely impressive performance out of the Terran. If you would have sent me this replay with the title Throw of the Century, I would have been like, accurate title. Or if you would have said the sickest comeback with solid map control, beautiful Terran play, I would be like, yeah, this was good Terran play. This was a solid guide, basically, on how to come back into a game. It was beautiful. Perfect play out of the Terran when it comes to that. And the moment he gets ahead, you see what he does? Straight up wins the game. Superior fighting, great decision making, also better upgrades somehow, some way, despite being behind in eco from minute 3 till minute, well, 19 and a half or so. He only needed to get ahead once in this game. Just for a little bit. Just be even is all he needed. And he won the game there. Fantastic stuff. Outplaying. Man hit the freaking jackpot. then tried his best to throw the game for the next 20 minutes. And then when he finally succeeds in throwing, complains about imbalance. It's absolutely insane. GG at least. I'm happy to see that. Because this Terran deserved a freaking GG. Holy crap. Ratio plus L. Very well done. Very nice game. Topspin. This complaint is a little different because I don't know what was imbalanced about the Terran race. The reason that you don't know what is imbalanced about the Terran race is because the issue here obviously wasn't with the Terran. These units are fine. You managed to kill them many times over with disruptor shots. You had an okay composition during large periods of the game. Maybe you were lacking Colossi a little bit at the end. But overall, all of that was fine. It's just your overall unit control, your complete lack of map control, your inability to control DTs whatsoever. Like, how many DTs did you lose this game? You lost 24 DTs this entire game. And the DTs that were the most successful were the first 3 that you warped into your opponent's main base. And they killed 7 workers and then died. That's not even successful for 3 DTs, but those were the most successful DTs in the entire game. That says something about your DT control. If you don't understand how to control DTs, you don't actually have to use them. You can also just build different. You can build carriers. They're very A-movable. Seems to be more in your lane. Because the control in this game was actually atrocious. Fantastic play out of Ratio plus L, but Terran, my friend, is not imbalanced. No topspin. It is you who sucks. And that's the truth. All right. That's going to be it for today's episode of Is It Imba or Do I Suck? If you believe that you've struck gold, and when I say struck gold, I mean you played against something that's so extremely imbalanced that my eyes need to witness it, be sure to send it through the form down in the description below. And I'll hope to see all of you next time for a new video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.